Hello, good to see you all, or however many of you there are. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. The fragrance of this incense invites the awakened mind to be present with us now. The fragrance of this incense fills our room, protects and guards our minds from wrong thinking. The fragrance of this incense unites us with precepts, concentration, and insight. We offer it for all beings. Homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I shall become one with the Buddha. I resolve that I shall each day follow the way of life he laid down for us to walk and awaken to his supreme wisdom. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I shall become one with the Dharma. The gates of Dharma are manifold. I vow to enter them all. The goal of wisdom is ever beyond. I shall attain it. I go to the Sangha for guidance. I shall become one with the Sangha. In the spirit of universal fellowship, and as a member of the Sangha, I pledge myself to strive for the enlightenment of all beings. The Metta Sutta. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove. Wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upward to the skies and downward to the depths, outward and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will. Whether standing or walking, sitting or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into the world of suffering. May I be happy and well. May no harm come to me. May I learn compassion. May all my friends, family, and those I love be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those troubled in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those who have hurt me in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those I have hurt in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all my enemies be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all living beings be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. I confess I'm having a little difficulty tonight. I believe all those things we just chanted, but it's very difficult when you're in the middle of something going on like today to it brings up an awful lot of stuff when you're starting to think, may all those troubled in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well, and things like that. But this practice is not for good days. It's not for bad days. It's for all days. And so we'll meditate. Take a few deep breaths. Really make sure that you're not holding on to a lot of tension anywhere in your body. If you make sure your belly is soft, your abdomen soft so your lungs can fill and empty. That will usually let everything else start to relax and ease up. And we'll do the guardian meditations because these are always important. And the whole purpose of these meditations is to get us to see the greater purpose in what we're doing, which is to let go of a lot of the things that we cling to, even to ourself. So we begin with the traditional phrases of recollection of the Buddha, and you can modify these as they suit you. But the traditional phrase is the Buddha is unfailingly pure. Unfailingly pure. Because of his unexcelled awakening, and because he awakens others. He is the Buddha. And just take a moment to contemplate that, what it means to be unfailingly pure, to have a mind that is free from fetters, attachments, stains. And that in our practice, we're trying to get closer to that, to awaken to Buddhahood ourselves. And the second guardian is goodwill, metta. May I be happy. May I be free from animosity. May I be free from stress and affliction. May I look after myself with ease. May all beings be happy. Irradiate that thought in all directions. May all beings in front of me be happy. May all beings behind me be happy. And to my right, to my left, above me, may all beings be happy. And down below. And we'll contemplate the body. Body has things on the surface wrapped up in the skin, head hair, body hair, nails, teeth, skin. And inside that, there's muscles and sinews, bones, bone marrow, spleen. And all the organs, the heart, liver, lungs, kidneys, digestive system, and liquids like blood and sweat, lymph, fluid in our joints. The body is not me. Feelings, sensations, perceptions, thoughts, awareness. None of that is me. This body is subject to aging, illness, mortality. Life and death are of supreme importance. Time swiftly passes by and opportunity is lost. Each of us must strive to awaken. Do not squander this life. Buddha nature pervades the universe, existing right here now, and offering flowers, candles, and incense, hearing the Dharma and training the mind, great merits attain. We dedicate this merit to the great Master Shakyamuni Buddha, the all-pervading and everlasting three treasures, to the 16 guardians and all protectors of the Dharma, their relations throughout space and time, to all ancestors of the Sangha and all beings in the Dharma world. May penetrating light dispel the darkness of ignorance. Let all karma be resolved in the mind flower bloom in eternal spring. May the Dharma body maintain strength and health, and years of life be lengthened for all teachers of the Sangha. May their vows be fully realized, and may they live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma. We pray for those suffering from violence and those who grieve for them, for those living in oppression, for all who are imprisoned who should be free, for all refugees from violence, hunger, and catastrophe, man-made or natural. We pray for those currently barricaded in the nation's capital, doing their job to sustain democracy. And we pray for those who, whether we agree with them or not, out of their pain and ignorance, are trying to derail that process. We pray for the health and well-being of those suffering from diseases of body, mind, or spirit, those working toward the healing of those afflictions. We pray for those suffering from COVID-19 and those protecting and treating them, and for those grieving for those lost to this pandemic. May we all be serene through our troubles. May we all realize the better way, the enlightened way together. Yeah, I'm a little teary. I wasn't expecting to be. I mean, it's been, I was in the middle of stuff, school stuff, and Michelle came in and said, "Are you watching the news?" And I said, "No, I'm working." And she said, "You should look at the news." And wow. And I've lived through some stuff, but I keep saying this, I've never seen anything quite like this. So we'll look back at today, from the future, January 6, 2020, and we'll say, that's the day that, and we get to see what that's going to turn to. My hope is that the people go, we don't want to live in a country like this where these things happen. Yeah, you're right. So, I had all these ideas about things I was going to talk about today that would have been kind of fun. And then this happened, and I said, and like it all seemed just either totally irrelevant or meaningless, or when I started looking at stuff, things like too heavy. Part of the issue is right. We need a little space between what's going on today and how we process it. It's still happening, so it's hard to process right now. So my advice, is try not to watch the news too much. Of course, you want to stay informed. You want to know what happens. I do too. But don't let it hook you. It's just another thing that can hook you. And be careful about letting the anger hook you. You know, there are some really messed up people in the world, and there always have been, and there always will be. You know, and our job uh, as Buddhists is to recognize their suffering and to try to do what we can about it. Now, that doesn't mean that we hand them the keys to the car, and say, "Here, go, kid, go wreck it," right? But this will pass, and it is entirely possible that we'll look back on this and go, "This is the point where the world, not just the country, but the world said, yeah, we're tired of this crap. We need to do better than this." We may go through a tough time in the next few years, maybe in the next decade or more. But, this is hopefully this would be a wake up call. Most of I stumbled on the dais at White Sands a few weeks ago because my good knee went out, my bad knee caught it, got sprained. I'm in a lot of pain, off and on. It's getting better, but it still hurts. But I looked at it and said, you know what? This is a wake up call. There's things that I really should have been taking care of with my body that I wasn't. And if I'd been taking care of those things, I wouldn't be hurting right now. And tonight may very well be it, or today, and tonight, and tomorrow, and however long it takes to get through this, may very well be a wake up call. There are some things that as a country we should have been taking care of that we didn't. And as a result, we're this is our karma. This is the result. I say we, it was really those bad people over there. You know what I mean? I mean, we all could have probably made better choices. But this is a point where we can say, all right, let's, we see where these actions have led. And Michelle, I see is on now. Came in earlier and said, "Are you going to talk about this tonight?" And at the time, I really thought I wasn't. I really thought I was going to say almost nothing tonight. I was going to guide a meditation and give everybody a break from thinking about it. But then she said, and I didn't tell her that, but she said, at some point, she said, "I know we don't want to offend people. We don't want anyone to feel rejected. We want everybody to feel like they're recipients of our compassion. But at some point, you got to say, no, this is wrong." And she's right. I mean, if you look historically at some of the bad things that have happened, silence is complicity. So, but, I'm not going to turn all of these into a political rant or anything like that. But, we do need as a community and as a society to do better. And we need to start by making greed, hatred, and delusion no longer acceptable as if they were virtues, as things that guide society. And that's a big part of the problem, is that we have people in leadership who, might claim to be adherents to some particular religion or another, and yet worship, money, and worship power, and worship, ignorance, and deliberately delude people. And that's really negative karma. And I guess if we play along with that, if we don't say, "No, this is screwed up, we can't do this," to what extent is this also our karma? So anyway, I may feel very differently by the time Sunday rolls around about how what needs to be said about this. But right now, try to take care of yourself. Be careful, about where your mind goes. Because to let yourself be dragged into hatred or greed or delusion, for that matter, it's not going to benefit anybody over the long run. But it's really natural for those thoughts to arise. Lord knows I have entertained them today enough myself. I've been definitely thinking of the sort of retribution that I think people deserve who bust down a Capitol door in order to try to reverse the results of an election. And bear in mind, I've voted for president 12 times in my life. First time was 76. I voted for Carter. And about half of the presidents who have served are the people I voted for, and the other half are people I didn't like. And that's the way democracy is. And that's really kind of probably the way it should work. I'm pretty consistently liberal Democrat, not 100%. I meet some people on the left I really don't like very much. I find some trends that go in that direction once in a while, and I think are negative. I wouldn't want to live in a leftist totalitarian state either. Those haven't worked out very well either. So we do need both sides. You need a synthesis and an antithesis, or a thesis and an antithesis in order to have a synthesis. In other words, you need two sides in order to come up with a good way to solve the problems. We face serious problems in our society. And even if we agreed on what the problems are, we won't find the best solution without a good deal of discussion and even argument. But what we have, unfortunately, on one side of the political spectrum right now is really completely dysfunctional. And frankly, I don't know how we'll get back to something that's that actually works. But I'm hoping that this moment, or another moment in the near future, or another moment in the slightly less near future, will be that point where we we find a way forward with dialogue and stuff. And yes, continue to, our practice consists of two real important components: wisdom and compassion. And compassion means recognizing suffering when we see it and recognizing it for what it is. And, someone who's suffering is not evil. They're just suffering. And if we can help them with their suffering, then maybe they won't do so many evil things. But, our job is to be compassionate. So, anyway, like I said, I had a lot of ideas about what I was going to talk about tonight, and then I didn't firm them up because they just all kind of seemed irrelevant. Is there anything you'd like to ask or share? Any of you? All right. Well, I'm not going to rant. I'm here for you. I'm here for you, even if you're on the other side politically. You know, I refuse to hate anybody. So that doesn't mean I'm going to like everyone's political ideas. Doesn't mean I won't shut somebody down, right? But and Michelle says, me too. I mean, we're whatever we can do to help you through this, very happy to. So what's totally off topic? You talking about that light over there? Yeah, no, it's really not. It's just, yeah, yeah. It's not that much light, really. It's just the way it hits, in silhouette and stuff. And the light in this room is really funky tonight. Hang on a second. Let me play with something. That's better. So there are two things going on. The light back there was on, but also the ring light that I used was, I think I had it set wrong. It was a weird angle. So yeah. um, yeah, I mean, activism has to come from a place of compassion. What would be the alternative? Come from a place of hate, right? You can, if you do what you do out of love, out of goodwill for all beings and compassion for all beings, then I think you'll get a better result. Certainly, be a happier person for it than if you do what you do out of a desire to punish or cause harm or pain. And it's kind of like you think about the way the prison system works. If you had compassionate um, corrections, you would still protect everyone from those people who, because of whatever their circumstances, were likely to engage in a lot of criminality. And you could do that and maybe even rehabilitate some, right? Educate them or whatever, and get some to return to some level of being a productive member of society, as opposed to causing pain to them, retribution. Justice doesn't have to be retribution. So I agree. So again, what's important to us, right? So karma, the best thing about to think about with karma is to think about your own karma, right? To not think about other people's karma too much. Think about what you want to have happen, what's important, okay? And then see what you can do to contribute to that. And don't worry about, somebody else's karma, good or bad or whatever. But how will it come to us here when you say here, do you mean here in Buddha world, virtual, the virtual Pure Land, or do you mean here in the land, or what do you mean exactly by here? I know there's a big lag between when I ask a question and when you actually hear it, and then when I see the response. Oh, in our practice. Again, the first thing is to focus on doing good, avoiding evil, training your mind. And like I said earlier, this is not a practice for good days. It's not a practice for bad days. It's practice for days, for every day. So, if you focus on being generous, being kind, being fair, being generous, caring, loving, those things. And if you try not to cause harm where you can, and again, you can engage in social justice work and not try to hurt people, just try to not let them hurt other people and try to protect people who need protecting. Right. And, purify your mind. So that's really the number one thing, is try not to attach too much. The reason I did the guided meditation that I did tonight is that it's a reminder, that this is very much impermanent. This is very much not mine. And so this life, what is mine is the result of what I do. So use this life well, but use this life well in a way that's compassionate, loving, wise, as best you can. And I know that right now that just sounds probably to a lot of you who are, meditation. And, I would, if you haven't been already, I would focus meditation on the four Brahma Viharas, rather than just meditating on your breath right now. Focus on having kindness and compassion for everyone, recognizing your blessings and the blessings of others and being glad for them, and having equanimity, recognizing that everything that happens because of causes, and we can't change causes that have already happened. And, we can't change conditions that have already happened. And, equanimity. So those four things, if you work on developing those in meditation, that'll help you. That'll go a long way toward getting you through some of this. Yeah, sure. And the problem is we live in a society right now where it's easy for some people to get caught up in a group, in a sort of a bunch of mental activity that reinforces delusion, flat out delusion. And it must be, I was thinking about some of the people that I know who have been lifelong Republicans that, probably have never voted for Democrat in their life, except maybe, on local levels and stuff like that. Really, believe in conservatism, because there's some things about it that, the idea that more power should rest with the states than with the federal government, and government should stay small, and all those kinds of things. There's a lot to be said for some of that stuff. And so if you've been habitually voting for Republicans and suddenly have this to look at, it must be a real hell of a quandary to have to deal with. I totally get it. I can't imagine, I'd like to think that if, I can't even imagine what it would be like to have anyone that I had voted for acting like this and people storming the Capitol. I just can't wrap my head around what that would be like. But I would like to think, there have certainly been times when people that I essentially agreed with in terms of their political point of view behaved really badly. And I felt really embarrassed for them, and it must be a real bitch to be in a position where you either vote for what you've been thinking all along was evil, or you vote for what you know is evil, but it's on supposedly on your side. You know what I mean? Uh, You know, uh, this is what we have here right now today. I think is a result of a really weird sort of perfect storm situation where we have this ongoing. Well, I don't want to get it too much into political analysis. I mean, I think the thing is we just need to be careful. We need to take care of ourselves, and we need to take care of each other. And we need to be willing to stand up and go, no, this is wrong. I mean, think about where we'd be today if a lot of the elected officials on the in the president's party had had not sat there with their mouths shut while he did crazy stuff. And if they'd stood up and said, "No, this is not what we're about," you know, it'd be a real different story today. So, I don't think silence is a good answer, but hatred is not a good answer either. Anyway, um, try not to watch the news too much. Stay informed, but don't stay immersed in it. It's not healthy for you. Um, Try to remember to have compassion. If you can say the metta prayer twice a day, the one that we do in service, may I be happy and well. Say that twice a day. Ring a bell, even, you know, things like that. Train your mind and maintain your compassion and your wisdom. Then, you'll be all right. And we're all going to be okay. Well, thank you for saying so, Art. And I appreciate you all too. I appreciate you being here. I was a little worried when I first came in to look and to start the live stream, and I don't know if it's just something new with YouTube or what, but it always tells me how many people are waiting, and there's usually a dozen or so, and it didn't show anybody. And I thought, oh my God, they're all just glued to CNN or whatever. Anyway, well, I hope it was helpful, and we'll talk more, I'm sure. And yeah, that's what. Yeah. So anyway, good. And the thing about the metta prayer, you may think, oh, I'm just saying these words, but I tell you, it's a very, very powerful practice. And metta bhavana meditation, um, Michelle will tell you, I I changed my personality quite a bit. Maybe she'll tell you this. I don't know whether she'll agree with this or not. I ended up a lot less wrapped up in anger, or at least a lot less quick to react from anger by practicing metta bhavana and Tonglen, those two things. Because I had problems with that stuff. And yeah, so keep that up. And there was a fellow who used to come to our meetings before COVID happened. He was a real regular who, until he retired, had worked at the county jail. And he had to deal with, the kind of people you would, his job was to kind of let people in for visitation and stuff. And there's a lot of rules about whether or not you get to come in and that kind of thing. And so you can just imagine the kind of crap he had to deal with all day. And when we started doing the metta prayer from the White Sands service, the may I be happy and well, may no harm come to me thing, he came in after we'd done that probably been doing it for a couple of months, and he goes, I'm really reacting differently to these people. I'm amazed. That's really powerful. And he'd been doing metta bhavana meditation for a long time, but something about saying those verses out loud, just really resonated with him in a really meaningful way and really changed the way he saw people. So don't think that this is not this isn't just a superficial practice. This will change your heart. So anyway, Thank you all for being here. I appreciate your time and attention. I appreciate you being who you are. And love you all. And I'll see you again tomorrow or Sunday. Have a great evening.